Hey everyone, it's that time of the month when Richard gets to geek out, look at stats, figure out everything we can about the Halifax market, because whether you're a buyer and you're here or moving here, whether you're a seller contemplating or you're up for sale and you're wondering what's going on, or whether you're kind of getting into that stage where, do you know what, I need to invest in real estate and you've chosen Halifax as the area, well, we've got every single possible information that you would ever need. We're going to try and squish it down into something a little bit more manageable for you, but if you have any questions, you know to get me. But let's hit you up with some stats. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, covering all the bases of where you are, depending on when you're actually watching the YouTube video. But this is Richard Payne from Halifax Homes and Lifestyles at eXp Realty, here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, geeking out, as I always do, on the stats, because, you know, my background is an accountant, so we love numbers. That's just what we do. So we're here because whether you're thinking of moving, whether you're here already, whether you're selling, whether you're investing, whatever it is, you need to understand the market, and that's what we're going to do, because we want to give you the stats to give you a real solid idea as to what's going on in Nova Scotia, because it's been and it still is a crazy hot seller's market here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's not going to change. Like, I can't see anything that's going to come up. Yes, we know that mortgage rates have just gone up by 1/4 basis point, but I did a calculation just to say, okay, on a typical $500,000 mortgage, not purchase price, mortgage of $500,000, if you were at like 1.7 and you went up to 1.95, that would be like $51 a month on your mortgage. It's not really going to change people or deter people from actually buying houses at the prices that we're looking at now. So let's get into some real hardcore numbers and let's see what's going on. Price. Everybody wants to know what the price is, because that's the biggest thing that is showing up in the Halifax market. Not only over asking, but what are we actually getting? So our average price is $611,192. Let's just call it 611,000 because it's much easier for me to remember. So that's our average. Now that's the whole of Halifax area. So we're covering South End, we're covering all of the single families. I'm not covering condominiums here, and I'm not covering income properties here either. So we're just looking at single families. That gives us a plus 31% on February in terms of 2021, last year. But it's only just a smidge down on 1% down on January. Now, we know January was definitely inflated. If you watched the video last time, you'll see that we talked about how many over $1 million houses actually sold in the stats for last month, and the fact that we didn't have a lot of houses that sold in last month. So a lot of big numbers, low volume of houses, price goes up. The 611 is probably a little bit more indicative of where our actual market value stands right now, because yes, we still had over $1 million houses sold, but just not like as many as we did last month in January. So Halifax South End, definitely average price point there is like 1.28 million sale price. So it definitely has got a factor in there, but just not as much as last year. So as last month rather. So 611 is kind of where we're sitting now. The average list price was 524, so that gives us an 87 average $87,000 over asking price when you looked at list compared to sale. That's 117%. So 17% over asking price. That's what you should be kind of factoring in your mind if you're a buyer when you're looking at houses. How much am I going to pay over? Is that the same across all markets? Absolutely not. We've got markets here where I'm looking at Lower Sackville. It's actually 33% over asking price. So that's a third. So average sale, let's do a quick number there. Average list price there of 347. Average sale price of 463. That's a big number. But be specific to your markets. We tell everybody, yes, this is the whole of Halifax area, so it's a pretty big area. If you're only looking in Bedford, you're only looking in Fall River, you're only looking in Dartmouth, then find the neighborhood and get specific on that particular area. 33% if you're going in Sackville. That's the area you're going to look at. That's what you've got to pay. So let's look at number of sold houses. We had 301 sales for February, which is up 50% on January and down 34% on last February. Now, we know we don't have a lot of houses actually coming up for sale. Looking at the stats here, we actually listed 360 homes in February, which was down on February last year, but double, like 50%. So another half as much as what we listed in January. So that's the good news. The good news is we listed a lot more houses. Problem is we sold a lot more houses, so more inventory for sale, more sales will happen, because that's just how our market is right now. We have a ton of buyers that are looking to buy basically every house that's possibly for sale. So guess what? We put more houses for sale, more people will buy the houses, and that's exactly where we stand. So did it affect inventory? Not a single bit. In fact, we're at 0.5 a month, half a month of inventory. Last month we were actually at 0.7 of a month, so we actually listed more houses, sold more houses, and inventory actually went down. But the green shoot is that people are starting to look into where they want to be later on in this year, and they're starting to look at what's going on with, shall we sell our house now? Now, if you're thinking of that kind of state where you're looking at, like, should I sell my house? The big thing we want to say to you is don't stress about the fact that there isn't a lot of houses for sale. You have a lot of ability to negotiate the closing dates longer on your agreements with the buyers. So if you're sitting there today and you're like, well, thanks very much, Richard, great information. I'm going to get probably the best price I would ever get for my house for sale, but I've got nowhere to go. We need to talk. We can figure that out for you. Just get a longer closing date and we start digging, hunting and searching to find the next place that's right for you. So there you go. All the details are coming up. You can get a hold of me. So when we look at the stats in terms of some other numbers here, the biggest thing we always like to do is to dig into the markets. Let's look at active homes actually first of all. 160 homes active actually for sale right now. Last month that was 146 homes, so a little bit more active on the market. But last year that was 268 homes for sale. So we're down 40%. And this is just giving you everything in terms of what is our issue right now. Just no houses for sale for the amount of buyers that we've got. It's not going to change. We had a quick look at the recent mortgage rate that came out this week. The obviously Bank of Canada jumped the base rate up by 25 basis points. On a variable rate mortgage, I'm not a mortgage person, so don't hold me to this, but I quickly said, on a $500,000 mortgage, so the mortgage amount, if you were at 1.7 variable rate and you went to 1.95 variable rate, 25 basis point jump, you would have a $52 increase in your monthly mortgage payment. So that's not enough that's going to deter people from kind of getting into the market and buying houses. So has that mortgage rate changed anything? No, not at all. The qualifying rate of like 5 point something percent is still there, and that hasn't changed either. So it's not really going to change the market. Now let's get into some basics. So we already know that we are $87,000 average over asking price. We know that's 17%. The days on market are 20. It's not really changed from last month, so that's staying the same. And the 20 is absolutely a combination of, we want 4 days to actually get viewings done on your property. Let's say there's another 4, maybe 5 days of conditions. So effectively, we as realtors are keeping the market to like probably a 10 or an 11-day average. And it's just that we've got some houses that have sold that have been probably on the market a little bit longer. So therefore we're up to 20 days on market, but that's still incredibly quick compared to where we were 2-3 years ago. So let's get into some specifics. Number one market, I think it was last month as well, is Timberley, Tantallon, St. Margaret's Bay area. They sold 32 homes down there. Average selling price, $689,500. Not cheap houses down there. 13% over asking price, 24 days on market. They've got 14 active, which therefore gives them 0.4 of a month of inventory. So something's going on in that area that people are buying up stuff down there like crazy. And I think it's maybe just a lot of people are starting to list their houses there. I think it's as simple as that. But when you're getting into a $690,000 average price point, that's not necessarily a cheap area. Westwood Hills has definitely taken off. Stillwater Lake is down there, as well as then when you get into Tantallon, there was a couple of sales in that neighborhood as well that kind of piqued everyone's interest, and they went to go and have a look at. So that's that. Number 2 is actually East Hants, Colchester West, so back up in the Elmsdale, Enfield, Lance area. Kiln Creek, a new subdivision, is going to come on strong up there. There's been a couple of recent announcements as well, so I think that area is only going to get faster and hotter and a bigger price point. They're already at $460,000 average price point. So, you know, from considering what we would have expected Elmsdale, Enfield, Lance to be, $460,000 is like quite a large average price point for that particular area. 38 days on market, so quite a long amount of time. 0.8 months of inventory, which is more or less one of the highest ones we've actually got right now. And there's 20 homes active in there today. Looking at number 3, we're down to Fairmount, Clayton Park, and the Rockingham area. They sold 19 homes there. Average price point, $819,000 down there, so not a cheap area, and I think that's a lot of the Rockingham stuff that was selling. Not so much the Clayton Park. I would expect that price point to be more the Rockingham area, because that's definitely had a few listings recently that some of my clients looked at, and yeah, they weren't cheap properties down there. Let's have a look. 18 days on market, 9 homes active. They sold 19 homes, so that gives you an idea that we're seeing some of the, not necessarily the markets we always used to see as top, because top we always used to see as Sackville, Fairview and Bedford. Those always used to be our top 3 if we went back a year. Now it's all completely changed. We've got different markets cropping up. So especially the East Hants, Colchester, which is Elmsdale, Enfield, Lance, that area is absolutely growing because of price point. But we're looking at the average price point now coming up at $460,000. We look at the new builds that are going to come up there. My guess is mid-5s for some of the things, because it's Stonewater, one of the builders up there, and they don't tend to make things that are less than $500,000. So when you look at those as well, that area, that price point is only going to start carrying on and increasing. So those are all the stats for everything that we've got going on in February. If you have any questions or you need anything, all the details are popping up. You know, we've probably got subscribe here, and we've probably got contact details here. We've probably got other playlists as well, because we want to make sure that you're getting all the best information. And if you have any questions, then please either hit me up on the comments, or you can text me, you can email me. You'll find a way to get a hold of me, and let's have a conversation about real estate here in Halifax.